Hip hop, hello! Yes, I'm back in the poorly lit place for another bit of waffling to you about what's happened this week with plastic robots. And yes, it's a bit disappointing to be having to film in this condition and all of this, and especially at night time, but I'm not really finding a lot of time to do this sort of thing. But I've got a nice little lot to talk to you about this week. And on the Tuesday of this week, the 8th, I have had my, second YouTube anniversary marked. So here I go into my third year of uploads. It really doesn't feel that long. That is incredibly strange. A bit unexpectedly, I found myself with a bit of money with my student loan going in without me even knowing, and I was like, oh. So of course that means I spend some money in Toys R Us and whatnot, but we'll get to that later, don't worry. First off, I'm going to show you my belated Christmas present from John, which is Cybertron Unicron, my very own planet smasher.
Tell me what you want from me.
And I've got to say, this is a very weird figure, a really strange take on a new design for Unicron, and I really like it. I've got him in a bit of a sort of asymmetrical setup here, just because he is the bringer of chaos, and why should he not look like that? So you've got this funny claw on his arm, and it makes me scratch my head a bit, because these bits, which are these spikes down here, which are meant to be like, I suppose, the broken planet rings that would normally go around and make his bony bat wings, because you're meant to put them in his hand like that, like a claw, but they have to overlap like that, and you just can't get them to sit right. I don't know if they're meant to, but that's what that ended up looking like. But there's a lot I really like about this figure, and I really do want to do a review, because there is a lot to pick out. He's got this really nice massive cannon here, and a really well done sort of skeletal face, so he hasn't got an old moustache that Unicron should have, but I think that's pretty fitting, and sort of makes me think, is there a bludgeon sort of repaint anyone's customised done, you know? If that sentence made sense, then that would be good. So yeah, I've got him with this sort of claw arm thing going on here, make him look a bit like Prime Unicron, I thought. And yes, just beautiful thing. Although he has got these massive wheels sticking out the back, and nothing around here moves whatsoever, and they're always going to be there, which is a little bit irksome. It comes with a Planet X key, which is just a Decepticon one without the Decepticon symbol painted, but it's still sort of embossed in there. Oh look, there's a code. Oh yes. And when you put it in his back, it just sort of makes his chest mouthy panel things go nom 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 nom. And there's a gun in there that sort of pokes out, and if you force the key in hard enough, which I didn't actually think was possible at the time, I got it. It locks in there, and you've got the sort of little triple missile-y thing that you would have had in his chest in the bigger version that would never actually stay in there, which is one of the reasons why I gave mine to Vigadeth. So overall, I'm very, very nicely chuffed with this figure, and I've got a lot to be able to talk about in a review about him. And I would say it's definitely one I would recommend. Of course, these days you either get one loose, or mine was loose-ish. It was in the box, it had the twist ties on it, but the guy had obviously opened it and taken it out a few times. Slightly strange, but at least it came to me in 110% complete, even with the twist ties. So it's good, it's all good. There is the United version available, which is a slight repaint, but that is rather expensive, and it will probably cost you as much as the MISB version of this. So yeah, it's what you prefer, I guess. And then the aforementioned trip to Toys R Us, where I stumbled upon some Combaticons. And you may be thinking, oh, that's something to be excited about, and so did I, till I actually saw them, and I knew that I wanted to get them, no matter sort of what condition they actually are in, and I knew I wanted to get Brawl first, and there he was, and here he is, and I'm finding it quite hard to say a lot of good things about this, or about any of them because I looked at them all and they all just looked really just cack. They are so cheap. There's so little paint on them and they're made of really garish solid plastic colours, and I'm finding it really hard to sort of justify the idea of completing a Bruticus, even though I really want to, even though these things are a bit crap. But I'm going to press on and I'll see. I mean, so many different decos of this I could have chosen. When I'm going for the cheapest one, I guess I should expect to get what I pay for. I would love a set of Takara ones, but God knows when I'd ever have the money to afford that sort of thing. So I'm going for the £9.49, like, Tesco value option here. Yes, it's Brawl in his hover tank mode, which I like. It's not a bad representation of the thing in the game. It goes, but I just can't help but feel it's half-arsed. There's nice sort of engine-y bits on the back. He needs some purple stuff in there. Overall, really, he needs purple highlights, all the glowing bits. The stuff in the front there, look, there's his head in there, just tucked away. There needs to be this panel come sloping down to the bottom, and there should be a Decepticon symbol on there. And you've got just gaps in these, like what would actually sort of fold down and go to be treads when you sort of boost him along. At least in War for Cybertron, that's what happened. And look, even the ends of his turret guns aren't like hollowed out. It's like the G1 gun that you'd stick on the top of the tank, even to the extent, which is a slightly nice touch, that his gun stores in the middle of those. So very G1-y, but not exactly very good for 2012, I must say. I'm not even sure I want to show you the bot mode because it just looks awkward. The way his arms are done, it's like he's always sort of like that or something. The legs are weak, his toes are rather loose. It's really hard to stand him up. But he just seems too small, too skinny. I mean, I know that Brawl is actually the slightest sort of figure out of all the tank bots in Fall of Cybertron, but that's no reason to make this thing so small and insubstantial as a robot. And then you just got a massive backpack with the turret and all the combiner guff hanging off it. But at least I can get some enjoyment from the massive click of the combiner joint. So I'd say I'd look forward to showing you more Combaticons as I get them, but I'm really not sure if I want to now. Nah, of course I do. I want to get a Bruticus. I mean, yes, you know, I'm not going to have a very good version of him, but at least it won't cost me a lot, and I will get to experience the moulds, and they'll grow on me like everything does, so I guess it won't be too bad of an investment. At the same time, I got something which I like a hell of a lot more than I thought I was going to, because I thought he was going to be cack, and just really isn't. It's Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime, with this design that I've said I don't really like, but in toy form I think actually works quite nicely. Yes, it's the Deluxe Optimus. Yes, he's too small and out of scale with everything, but come on, this is a really nice representation. I mean, the way I see it, Deluxe Optimuses are always sort of just, you don't buy them to have them interact with all the other figures. You just buy it for a nice little representation of Optimus as a nice action figure on his own. And when you consider this as that, it's very nice indeed. It's incredibly poseable, and yes, the transformation is a bit easy, but it's not bad. There is no kibble on him. I mean, except maybe these flaps hanging off his elbows. But come on, this is a really neat and tidy figure. Yes, it could do with a bit more paint, it could do with some red highlights here and there, but I think it's definitely worth a tenner. It's just nice, you know. The joints feel good, and I guess he isn't made out of the best plastic, but he still feels really solid. So I guess there's, you know, a bit of a surprise recommendation there for a figure which a few people may be holding off on, simply because the War for Cybertron one is obviously a lot better, but this is just nice. It's so much fun as an action figure on its own. I can't describe it to you, but just take my word for it. And then On the day of filming this, I went to Forbidden Planet, mainly looking for a Marvel Universe Hulk vs Wolverine set to get that new Hulk mould, and they didn't have any, and I was disappointed. But I did come out of there with a couple of issues of Hellboy in Hell, which I've been really looking forward to, and I picked up the new Captain America as well, because I thought that looked quite good. I'm a sucker for John Romita Jr.'s art. Comic aside, I got myself a Creon Scorponok. What I'm about to show you is completely not what you would sort of buy to have him as, but I'm not going to say it's not the product as advertised, because you can make it yourself if you got it, but he's on a scooter. Basically, I've realised that these Creon guys have far too much in the way of extra parts, and when you get Scorponok, he's got a vest covering up all the detail, like Waspinator did. He's got all the stuff on his back, which I suppose is okay, because he should have the tail on his back. And he's got really big bits on his arms, making them bigger for some reason. I took all that off, made him quite a bit better, I think. It lets you see all the detail on his chest, and it makes his arms look a bit better. And so all the extra parts just went into this, and he's got a scooter. Yeah, imagination! Or rather, imagination. And yeah, for £2, which is what he was in Forbidden Planet, I can't really grumble. I might end up getting some more. They're a bit of fun, I guess, but I just sort of feel they don't really fit anywhere else in my collection. It's like, go in this sort of obscure miscellaneous pile where the bot shots and my wind-up Ectimus Prime live. So apart from telling you that today I also bought a black Iron Man, because I don't know why, but the new design in the comics has slightly grown on me and made me want to go and buy a black and red glowing bits Iron Man. He's an Avengers figure, so he's a little bit cack, but hey ho. And a Silver Surfer pocketbook, because who doesn't like surfing the spaceways? So I shall sign off now and tell you that look forward to a Fall of Cybertron kickback review, because I've already filmed that, like I did with the Brush Guard one, which I put up the other day. I filmed it at home and I'm going to edit it here, so I can just, get on and actually have it uploaded in a decent time and not take the whole day to upload the video, which is what would have happened if I had uploaded it at home. Hopefully I can make the kickback review quite as good as the Brush Guard one. I was really chuffed with that. It's been a while since I've done a review where I felt that I've sort of, I wouldn't say knocked it out of the park, but made myself chuckle along the way, and I really did have a brainwave with that Man-Thing skit at the end. Must have filmed that day after I filmed the rest of it. So yeah, expect some future uploading of some sort of review style. I definitely want to get one done for this Unicron, because there's so much more than I can fit into one of these I want to talk about. I don't want to turn this into a review for him, especially not with a light in here. So I guess that's enough said.